Welcome to a meeting of your Planning Commission, the official local planning agency for the cities of Tampa, Temple Terrace, Plant City, and unincorporated Hillsborough County. The Planning Commission provides innovative leadership and long-range vision that contributes to the creation of a thriving, prosperous community that offers opportunity, fairness, and choice in how we live, move, learn, work, and play. For more information about the Planning Commission, please call 813-272-5940. Follow us on social media or visit our website at planhillsborough.org.
Welcome, everyone, to the July 10th, 2023 public hearings of the Planning Commission on Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan Amendments. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation are encouraged. For those attending in person and wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign the register at the rear of the room and turn off any devices that may be a distraction. To minimize feedback in the audio, all online participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should unmute themselves to indicate that they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for the local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. For those of you who are not familiar with our process, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentations with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chairman. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will then ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that, I'd like to please ask the clerk to go ahead and call roll.
Bernstein?
Here.
Bowden?
Here.
Buzza?
Here.
Cardenas?
Here.
Fernandez?
Here.
Handy?
Here.
Kress? Kress? Loke?
Here.
Surya? Surya? Orton?
Lori Belandia for Michelle Orton.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Joseph?
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, our first agenda item, 2A, was withdrawn. HCCPA 23-05 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment was withdrawn, so we'll take that one off the agenda. And I wanted to bring up action item 2H, HCCPA 23-12 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment. It's requesting a continuance.
Good evening, Cammie Corbett with the law firm of Hill, Ward & Henderson. We are asking for a continuance this evening for this plan amendment. We realized when we got the staff report that maybe there was more information that we could share with staff, and we wanted to have the benefit of having that dialogue before we came forward to you. So we respectfully requested a continuance to the September, I think it's 11th, Planning Commission hearing.
Okay. Thank you. All right, were there any questions, discussions from the commissioners? We do need a motion and an action on this. So. Commissioner Buzza?
I'd like to move we find or continue the HCCPA 23-12 to the September 2023 public hearing.
All right. Motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion of continuance by Commissioner Buzza, a second to that by Commissioner Bowden. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Not seeing any. I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on that continuance.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Loke?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right. With those two items taken care of, our first agenda item for business tonight is 2B, and that's HCCPA 23-06 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, 5135 Madison Avenue, and the presenter is Wally Gillard.
Good evening. My name is Wally Gillard with Planning Commission staff, presenting on HCCPA 2306 5135 Madison Avenue. The nature of this request is privately initiated. It is a small-scale amendment. The site is approximately 39.16 acres in size, and the applicant is proposing to go from light industrial to heavy industrial. The subject site is within the urban service area. It is located in the southern portion of unincorporated Hillsborough County and within the limits of the Greater Palm River Community Plan and within the coastal high hazard area. The subject site is south of Madison Avenue, east of US 41, north of West Bloomingdale Avenue, and west of CSX railroad tracks. Existing uses within the site include vacant, light commercial, and heavy industrial. The surrounding area to the north is heavy commercial, and light industrial, and to the east is agricultural uses, and to the west and the south of the site there are existing light and heavy industrial and vacant uses. So this is a view of the site looking north on 5135 Madison Avenue, and this is a view looking west. This is looking east on the subject site, and this is looking south on the subject site between parcels 46996.1000 and 47016.000. The adopted future land use map designation of the subject site is light industrial. It is surrounded by light industrial to the north, east, south, and west, and there's existing heavy industrial future land use category to the further west and natural preservation further to the south and southwest. The comprehensive plan amendment is seeking to change the future land use map designation from light industrial to heavy industrial. And within both both light and heavy industrial future land use categories, no residential uses are permitted, and both allow for a potential maximum consideration of 0.75 floor area ratio and 1,279,357 square feet. Based on the information provided above on the slide, the proposed amendment would allow for no density and the same intensity. The proposed change from light industrial to heavy industrial future land use category would allow consideration of processing, storage, and other uses, including outdoor storage. Outdoor storage uses do not count towards a site's floor area ratio within the heavy industrial future land use category. Additionally, this future land use change would allow for an increase in intensity of uses that have the potential to create adverse impacts to the surrounding area, such as air emissions, noise, dust fallout, and or air quality and odor. The proposed request is consistent with the following objectives and policies of the comprehensive plan: Objective 1, Objective 8, and Objective 9, as well as Objective 26 and the Greater Palm River Community Plan. Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and the policies of the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. This concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Is there an applicant? Does the applicant have a presentation?
They do.
Come on.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Ron Noble, 401 East Jackson Street here in Tampa, working with Trademark Metals Recycling on this project. A lot of folks aren't familiar with Trademark Metals and their operations here. They have now grown into the state of Florida's largest recycler and handler and reprocessor of scrap metals throughout the state. They have grown organically to actually lead this category in the whole southeast United States over the last decade or two, and we are headquartered right here in Tampa, Florida. If everything continues to proceed with this site, we will actually move our corporate headquarters to this property using the existing office building that's already constructed. It's actually an ideal location. You can see on the map that staff referred to that it's adjacent to another scrapyard that's currently existing under the light industrial land use category. That is one of our scrapyards that's accessed off of Dover Street, although it is immediately adjacent to this Madison Street property, aptly called our Dover Street facility. So this property, although conforming in its operations right now, is really better suited based on its existing uses as a heavy industrial. So we've included that acreage in this petition, which makes up about half of that acreage. I know you see it every month on your agenda. We're seeing it more and more frequently with especially Tampa and Hillsborough County operations as some of our historical industrial areas are transitioning to residential. We're getting a little pushed out of these areas that historically have been all heavy in industry in nature, and unfortunately apartments and townhomes don't make very good neighbors for a scrapyard that, you know, by its nature produces the light, dust, and noise that staff referred to and belongs in a heavy industrial land use category and zoning area. Some of our existing facilities that serve this part of Hillsborough County, think Ybor City, downtown, things of that nature, they are right now being encroached upon by those residential uses. So this is an immediate plan, but it's also a good plan for our future, as we know that encroachment is going to be pretty incompatible with our existing scrapyard uses that we have there now. We did hold a community meeting. Some of our industrial neighbors came out, sat with them for a while. They are in support of this petition, and quite frankly, they will be coming behind us with their own petition to transition. I don't know if they've already come in or not, but they're not far behind. They'll be on the next cycle. They're going to come in. So those areas between our properties and US 41, as well as to the east of our properties, they will also be coming in to go from light industrial to heavy industrial. We have with us this evening Jeff Powers, who is our general manager for Florida operations, and you know our land use attorney, Cammie Corbett. We're here to answer any questions. If there's questions, Cammie has some slides we can present, but we appreciate your assistance on this.
Cammie Corbett with Hillward and Henderson again. We do have some slides that help, just quick slides to better illustrate. I guess this is me here. I have no idea how to make this work. Is there an Elmo? Because it'd be a lot easier to do it on the Elmo. Let's do the Elmo. Oh, you've got it up. Never mind. Sorry. So the property in blue is the property that they own, and the property in green is the property that they have under contract where that existing office building is. So you can see that, and they will utilize that existing office building. Just wanted to point out we are zoned M, so we do not have a companion rezoning to accompany this plan amendment because we are already zoned M. And M is the county's industrial zoning districts. And just wanted to let you know that issues such as lighting, sound, vibration, airborne discharges, dust, are all addressed through performance standards that are already in the Land Development Code. So to the extent that there are any concerns about the new uses, they are addressed in the Land Development Code. And just lastly, this is from the Port's master plan. You can barely see the little red circle, but that's us, and we're indicated as a port-related property here, and we're important to the port where those heavy industrial uses are occurring. So again, we're here to answer any questions should you have any.
All right, thank you very much. I don't think we had anyone sign up for this one, so I will turn it over to the commissioners for discussions, questions, or comments on this one. I am not seeing any lights or any hurry, so I will go on ahead and let it go once, twice, 3 times, close the public comment, and I will open it up to motions on this item from the commissioners. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find HCCPA 23-06 consistent with the goals, policies, and objectives of the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan, and that we pass it along to the County Commission for their consideration.
All right, Commissioner Buzza.
I'll second.
All right, a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Buzza. Any comments from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time. I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on that item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Loke,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, next up on the agenda, we have item 2C, HCCPA 2307 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Big Bend Road and Triple Creek Boulevard, and the presenter is Jillian Massey. You want me to read you in again?
Sure, thank you.
All right. We're looking at item 2C, HCCPA 2307 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Big Bend Road and Triple Creek Boulevard. And we have with us now Jillian Massey.
Apologize for the delay in getting in here. Again, I'm Jillian Massey with your Planning Commission staff, and I'll be presenting on 23-07 Big Bend Road and Triple Creek Boulevard. The nature of this request is that it's a privately initiated small-scale map amendment located on approximately 9.68 acres. And the request before you is to change the site from Residential Plan 2 to Residential Plan 9. This is a general locator map for the April cycle of proposed map amendments. 23-07 is located in the southeastern portion of unincorporated county in the rural area. It's within the limits of the Riverview and South Shore Area-Wide Systems community plans. This is an aerial photo of the site outlined here in pink. It's located on the north side of Big Bend Road and west of Triple Creek Boulevard. Surrounding uses include single-family residential on all sides, a public school to the northeast, and a daycare and neighborhood amenity center with a playground to the southeast of the site. This is a wide view facing westward on Big Bend Road, where the subject site is on the right-hand side of this photo. This is facing east on Big Bend Road, where the subject site is located to the left of the photo. Facing west again on Big Bend Road towards the single-family dwellings on Lover's Lane, which is just to the west of the subject site. This is the vacant land that borders the entire west side of the subject site. It's currently undeveloped. And this is facing south on Big Bend Road, looking across the street from the subject site where you'll find single-family dwellings. And this is the view of the subject site facing northeast, where you can see the public school off into the distance. This is the adopted future land use map for the subject site. Currently, it's designated as Residential Plan 2, which allows consideration of agriculture, residential, suburban scale neighborhood and community commercial, office uses, multi-purpose and clustered mixed-use projects. Non-residential uses shall meet locational criteria for specific land use. And the site is completely surrounded by Residential Plan 2 designation, and you can see this is the only designation in the vicinity of the site. The proposed future land use is Residential 9. The Residential 9 designation allows consideration of residential, urban scale neighborhood commercial, office uses, multi-purpose projects, and mixed-use developments. Non-residential uses shall meet established locational criteria for the specific land uses. This slide outlines the potential impacts from changing the site from Residential Plan 2 to Residential 9. Currently, only one dwelling unit can be considered at a density of 1 unit per 5 gross acres. A higher density of 2 units per acre could be considered with a planned village concept on a site of 160 acres or more, but that does not apply to this site. The change to residential 9 would allow for consideration of up to 77 dwelling units at a density of 9 dwelling units per gross acre. And under the residential plan 2, up to approximately 105,000 square feet of non-residential development at a floor area ratio of 0.25 could be considered. The change to residential 9 would allow approximately 211,000 square feet of non-residential development at a floor area ratio of 0.50. So the change would allow a much higher commercial intensity, changing from 0.25 to 0.50. The proposed amendment would introduce urban scale neighborhood commercial, whereas currently only suburban scale can be considered. This application was sent out for agency review and there were no formal objections received. However, Planning Commission staff has reviewed it for consistency with the comp plan and has found it to be inconsistent with several policies, including Policy 4.1, which just describes rural area densities within rural areas. And it should show that on the future land use map, there will be no densities higher than 1 dwelling unit per 5 gross acres, unless located in an area identified with a higher density land use category on the future land use map. Other policies that we found this case to be inconsistent with were Objective 16 and associated policies relating to neighborhood protection of existing neighborhoods, and the gradual transition between the gradual transition of intensities between land uses. The Riverview Community Plan Goal 1 says to avoid strip development patterns with commercial uses. And the change to a higher density residential category would allow for more of an urban scale commercial intensity. The Goal 1 also says to promote diversity in housing type and style to the counter-generic subdivision look, provide appropriate and compatible buffers and transitions to existing adjacent land uses, particularly with agricultural operations and the lands acquired for preservation and/or open space. Goal 2 of the Riverview Community Plan has a section relating to mixed uses, where they would like to focus and direct development toward walkable mixed-use town center locations throughout the community while respecting existing land uses. And a residential section that says to encourage attractive residential development that complements the surrounding character and promotes housing diversity. And based on those considerations, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed comprehensive map amendment 23-07 be found inconsistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there an applicant presentation?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, my name is Todd Pressman, 202nd Avenue South, number 451 in St. Petersburg, Florida. Is there a timer for my 15 minutes so I can keep track anywhere? I thought there was one up here.
The clerk keeps track of it, and
Thank
they're
you.
virtual.
Thank you, Mr. Rendia. This is CPA 23-07 located in the Riverview area. Thank you, Jillian, for summarizing the site. Site is located here in the red arrow. This is an info site. This is the site location. You can see it's next to the Triple Creek Village Center and 2 schools, composed of 10 acres. The proposed use of companion PD. Now there's a companion PD for this site, which is for the Riverview Retirement Residence, which is a congregate senior living development. Typical residents are in their 80s, about 20% are couples, with 149 suites. The county code calls it a life care treatment facility. This project is designed for those who are still ambulatory but still in need of support. Private rooms don't have kitchens. There's one large dining room which everyone takes their meals. So let me stop for a second, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Let me make this very clear. I don't say this with any malice or animosity or negativity with Ms. Massey or Ms. Zornita. They do a great job. But there is a huge difference here in how this is being presented to you. You have been presented with just the comp plan amendment. That's not even half of what's proposed before you. What's proposed before you is a companion PD that significantly reduces what's allowed at the site today. When this case went for a briefing to the Board of County Commissioners, they directed the Planning Commission that the companion should be heard together with the PD. That's the only way this application works. So we're asking for your awareness, your consideration, and yes, the transparency on behalf of the neighbors, the community, the applicant, and the commission, County Commission, to weigh and consider this project as really, honestly, and completely is proposed as the lower impacting use. That's critical for your review. So the Hawthorne development provides a much needed housing type. There are no other similar senior housing programs in the entire Riverview area. So here's a comparison. What's proposed is 149 senior living suites and 2 manager units, where Jillian has made you aware currently today has 110,000, believe me, I think she said up to 105,000 square foot of commercial that's due today. That's a huge difference between what she reported to you and what's proposed. Hawthorne has been in Florida and the Bay Area for a long time. This is the Valrico site that was recently approved that we all worked on. Came out very nice, very beautiful, very successful. Average of the age are the 80s, low impact on city services, no school impacts, low traffic generation. They seek this lifestyle for support as their home and as a social structure, along with laundry, medicine that's delivered, meals as their lifestyle. You can see they have a very nice dining room, private suites, studios, 1, 2 bedrooms, housekeeping, linen services, chef prepared meals. 30% of the area is common area, activities director, social, physical activities, a movie theater. Resident transportation services. A lot of the residents give up their keys. They provide transportation to wherever the residents want to go on a continual basis, 24/7. Traffic consideration is low volume. AM peak hours, only 12 vehicles. We are exempt from the transportation report. It was so low under the zoning. So this is the file PD. As you can see, to make it simpler, this is more of a colored rendering of the site as it would exist. In terms of zoning, future land use, under the Riverview Community Plan, the zoning, as Jillian has indicated to you, is AR. We're seeking the RP2, which does allow community commercial, office uses, multi-purpose, and clustered mixed-use projects. So there is a lot of entitlement at this site that we are reducing, diminishing, and eliminating. Under the Riverview Community Plan, it does allow for mixed-use development. And be very clear, the property directly next door is office, commercial, multifamily at 4 stories under the Triple Creek Village Center PD. So there's very large, intense entitlements right next door. Now, Jillian did mention that there's a budding single family, but actually the site is buffered, as you can see on the mapping here. To the north is the Triple Creek stormwater area. To the west, or the east, is the 50-foot Hillsborough County Public Lands spacing, and to the south is again the Triple Creek stormwater. So there are no single-family homes that abut this site. And this is one more view of the village center and the RP2 comp plan that's before you, and some of the buffering. Water and sewer are immediately adjacent next to the site. Now here's a metric for you to really drive home the difference between just looking at the comp plan and considering the companion PD that the commissioners wanted, heard, and seen directly. Under the existing RP2, under the commercial, they could have 3,900 trips per day. But because under our comp amendment, under congregate care facility, ITE rate 253, it's only 332. That's a reduction of 3,569 trips a day when you consider what's really being presented before you. Again, reduced transportation factors is a lot of the residents don't drive. They prepare meals in the dining hall. Even the Hillsborough County Code recognizes 1 bed is equal to 2.5 residents, or excuse me, 1 dwelling unit is equal to 2.5 residents or beds in the facility. So the code does recognize the reduced impacts of this site. There's a lot of comp plan amendments that you haven't been made aware of. This is an important one, Objective 1.6. Promote, facilitate, and provide housing opportunity to serve persons with different needs, include, quote, the older population. Policy 1.6.15, promote and prioritize senior housing and opportunities to age in place. And that's been the push, as I'm sure commissioners are aware, over the last many years, is that we want our seniors, our grandmothers, our grandfathers in the community, not put out on some major roadway on US 19 or Dale Mabry in terms of being in a sterile institution. That's what this use does. And these are two critical comp plan policies that direct that occurs. Objective 1.1, support a range of housing options to affordably meet the needs of current and future residents. There is no other facility that we are aware of in this area of the county. Goal 1, achieve a better design and densities that are compatible with Riverview's vision, which notes promote diversity in housing type and style and provide appropriate and compatible buffers to transitions to existing adjacent land uses, which we will be providing. Again, considering what the real use is here, it's 149 congregate senior living facilities versus 110,000 commercial square footage. Those are two completely different elements that are captured in this request. Policy 16.1, establish planned neighborhoods and communities limiting commercial development and residential land use categories. That's what we're doing. We're eliminating a commercial use that is currently existing on this property and requiring buffer areas and screening. So the site and PD plan clearly will provide its own buffering, but I've shown you that there is extensive buffering outside of the property of the project. Policy 16.2, graduate transitions of intensities between different land uses. Buffering and screening techniques control of specific land uses. That's what we're doing here. With the single-family homes, rather have 110 or 105,000 square feet of commercial uses that are operating some 24/7, restaurants, bars, or a nice, quiet 8 p.m. bedtime with folks who stay interior to a building. That is the difference of that comp plan amendment and transition comp plan amendment 16.2. Goal 1 of the Riverview Community Plan is mixed-use commercial residential, promote diversity in housing type and style to counter generic subdivision look, and provide appropriate and compatible buffers again to transitions to adjacent land uses particularly. Goal 2, focus and direct development towards walkable mixed-use town centers. We are right next door, as I showed you, right next door to the Village Creek Downtown Village Center. Provide for those throughout the community while respecting existing land use. That would be a nice little walk for the residents who are still ambulatory right next door to the village center, which is what the purpose of a village center is. So in summary, again, we have a vast difference into how your staff has presented this to you. Clear, it's more than clear to you now. That's how they decide to do things. That's not our issue, but I'll express again, the Board of County Commissioners specifically express these issues to be heard together. So let's review what's really proposed here. You're a planning commission. With the greatest respect, let's look at it and review it as it exists as a planning commission, in my opinion, should. The use and development are locked in as a directed companion. It's needed in the area. It's quiet. It reduces traffic by 1,100% and reduces other site intensities. They've proven to be a beautiful and successful facility across the country in Hillsborough County. They don't sell their developments. They maintain and operate every single development that they've built. They're here to manage and they're here to stay. It meets many, many comp plan policies that you haven't heard from your staff, and we do provide a good transition. So with that, with all due respect, with the staff, we appreciate your consideration and happy to answer any question you might have.
Thank you, sir. All right. I didn't have anyone in the online list. No one here in person signed up. So we will turn it over to the commissioners for comments, questions, and discussion. Commissioner Buzza, see you moving.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if this is directed at Mrs. Zornita. I always stumble over your last name, and Buzza is a tough name to get out. Or Mr. Robin. Has the county made a change in procedure where we are allowed to consider PDs? It has been historically we're not allowed to consider a PD in our decision process.
That is correct. The county has directed that when this item comes back to them at the BOCC, that they would like to see the companion PD rezoning. But that zonings don't come before you all, and so that is not a part of your purview in reviewing the plan amendment, and that, for that reason, is why staff also did not consider the specifics of the PD rezoning as part of our analysis of the plan amendment, because ultimately, once you change the plan, it could be the assisted living facility as described, but it also could be 9 units per acre of other residential development in the rural area. And that we have to consider all possibilities, because a PD can be modified at any time, even though, so it does give it more surety, but it's,
Was there direct communication from BOCC that we should look at, take any use of a PD that accompanying a land use change? I mean, this is the second time it's come up, so I'm trying to make sure
Yeah,
that I
the-
fully
the
understand
way
that the
they
county
have-
has not changed procedure, and we have not changed
they've
our,
not, the
our
only
rules.
thing that they've changed is at their workshop, they have requested that any amendment that has a companion rezoning, that we bring those back to the BOCC to be heard together in front of them. But they've not given any direction for you all to look at things differently.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Are there any more comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the school board and Michelle Orton, the comments are that there is adjacent capacity for elementary and middle school, but no high school capacity. And the applicant will need to contact the school district to discuss future mitigation or a prop share for the same reasons that Ms. Ornita just explained, because other things are able to go into this particular development.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners on this item at this time? I am not seeing any, so going once, going twice. I'm going to close the public comment and open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item. Commissioner Buzza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to find that we find CPA 23-07 inconsistent with the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan, forward this on to the County Commission.
All right, that's a motion of inconsistency finding by Commissioner Buzza. Commissioner Handy.
Second.
All right, we have a second to that inconsistency finding by Commissioner Handy. The motion was made by Commissioner Buzza. Are there any more questions from the commissioners or comments on this item? Not seeing any, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Logue?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for the information and your time. We'll move on to our next agenda item, which is 2D, HCCPA 2308, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Armand Drive and Soccer Avenue. And I believe we have a group of people who are going to be coming into the room. So if we
If we could just pause a minute and let people come in before Jillian starts her. I think Carla just went out to get them. Thank you, Jillian.
Did I say who the presenter was? Jillian Massey. I don't know if I said that.
You want me to go ahead? Okay.
I'm Jillian Massey with Planning Commission staff. I'll be presenting on HCCPA 23-08, which is Armand Drive and Soccer Avenue. The nature of this request is that it's a privately initiated small-scale map amendment located on 3 different folios that total approximately 41.14 acres. The request is to change the land use designation from 3 different land use designations, public/quasi-public, residential 4, and residential 6, all to residential 9. This is the general locator map for the April cycle of proposed map amendments. 23-08 is located in the western portion of unincorporated county in the urban service area. It's located within the limits of the town and country community plan. The easternmost parcel involved in the plan amendment application is also partially located in the coastal high hazard area. This is an aerial photo of the site outlined here in yellow. It's located east of Hanley Road and Armand Drive and on the north and south side of Soccer Avenue. The site is currently vacant. Surrounding uses include single-family residential on all sides and the Morgan Woods Public Elementary School and Schimberg Sports Complex, which is owned by Hillsborough County, located immediately adjacent to the site. The Veterans Expressway is located to the east of the site, and there are a few townhome and condo developments located to the west of the site. Also along the southern boundary of both parcels is the Town and Country Greenway Trail. This photo shows the corner of Soccer Avenue and Armand Drive, where the first 2 parcels included in the plan amendment are shown on the right side of the photo. You can see across the street there are single-family residential. This is looking across the street from the site on Armand Drive, where you can see more single-family residential. This is the Morgan Woods Elementary School, located directly adjacent to the site. This is a view of the easternmost parcel located in the southeastern border of the sports complex. And this is one of the parcels that can't immediately be accessed from any of the roadways. This is a view again of the park and the sports complex. The parking lot here, you can see the Town and Country Greenway located in the distance on this photograph. This is the adopted future land use map for the subject site. Currently, the subject site is made up of three different designations, which are residential 4, residential 6, and public/quasi-public. It is surrounded by residential 4 to the north, suburban mixed-use 6 to the east, and public/quasi-public and residential 6 to the south, and residential 20 is located to the west. This is the proposed future land use map for the subject site. The proposal is to change the future land use to residential 9. The residential 9 designation allows for consideration of residential, urban scale neighborhood commercial, office uses, multi-purpose projects, and mixed-use developments. Non-residential uses shall meet established locational criteria for specific land uses. This slide outlines the potential impacts from changing the site to residential 9. Currently, the combination of the 3 land use designations would allow for consideration of up to 193 dwelling units and approximately 450,000 square feet of non-residential development. The change to residential 9 would allow consideration of up to 370 dwelling units and approximately 900,000 square feet of non-residential development. There are square footage limitations if all 3 folios were to be developed under one plan development. The proposed amendment would introduce urban scale neighborhood commercial, whereas currently only suburban scale can be considered. This application was sent out for agency review, and we did receive a couple of comments and concerns to note. The Parks and Recreation Department stated that Soccer Avenue is an entrance road into the Schimberg Soccer and Baseball Complex and not a county road. The addition of the residential units would drastically increase vehicular traffic through the park and have potential negative impacts on the park and residents using the facility. Also, affordable housing services did not support efforts to increase residential density within the coastal high hazard area. And also not shown here on the slide, we did receive a comment from the Environmental Protection Commission that stated that the westernmost parcel involved in this plan amendment, located right on the corner of Soccer Ave and Armand Drive, is a former landfill site, which does not prohibit the development of residential, but that there would be an extensive process that the applicant would have to go through to get that developed. Planning Commission staff has reviewed this application for consistency with the comprehensive plan and has found it to be inconsistent with several policies. First, policy 1.4 of the future land use element, which is related to compatibility in the urban service area and allowing the characteristics of different uses to be located near or adjacent to each other in harmony. Objective 16 and associated policies relating to the protection of existing neighborhoods and the gradual transition of intensities between land uses. Some of the policies to note in the land use suitability section of the future land use element include policy 10.9, which states to continue to implement, review, and amend as needed measures to restrict and eliminate inappropriate and unsafe development in the coastal high hazard area through plan designated uses, zoning and density and intensity limitations. Also policy 10.14, which states to limit new development in the coastal high hazard area to those that can be considered in the existing future land use category. And based on those considerations, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed comprehensive plan map amendment, HCCPA 23-08, be found inconsistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there an applicant presentation or an applicant present?
Thank you, Julie. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, commissioners, and residents who are here. Todd Pressman, 202nd Avenue South, number 451 in St. Petersburg, Florida. This is HCCPA 2308. The issue is including public, semi-public, Res 6 and Res 4 to Res 9 for 41.14 acres for 370 more or less rental units.
Hang on a moment. Were you supposed to have a PowerPoint up, or?
Oh, yeah, it's up here.
Oh, it's not. We can't see it. There you go. All right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So again, this is HCCPA 2308. Public, semi-public, Res 6 and Res 4, seeking to go to Res 9 for 41.14 acres for proposing 370 more or less rental units, of which there is a companion PD which encapsulates that use. And then to emphasize of which 24 of those units are affordable units. So we're located in the town and country areas. You can see here, you see the veterans. A little closer, you see the veterans is on the east. And the most outstanding elements here are the large school and the large sports complex, and of course the residential surrounding, composed of 3 parcels, as you can see here. And again, what is heavily driving the site is the school and sports complex, which is both very active sites. Existing future land use categories, as I indicated, is a large PQP, R4, and R6. And you can see again why that dominates the area. Existing zoning categories are RSC6 and RSC6. Now, Commissioners, very important, as I've indicated and as you've seen, which is the most impacting and most directive future land use category, the PQP, is a completely unbridled, unlimited, unrestrained density of impacts and intensity. In fact, of your 31 future land use categories, there's only one other that has no limit on density and FAR, and that's natural resources. So PQP, again, is an unrestrained, unbridled future land use density allowed. And that is what has pushed forward a school and a very large and very active sports complex. So these categories, PQP or the PQP category, allows major existing and program government-owned facilities and other public uses. Accommodates quasi-public uses such as private establishments for, again, churches, schools, hospitals, clubs, recreational services, tourist attractions, large, big entities that don't have to worry about the future land use category, FAR, and those types of elements. Now, the Schimberg Sports Complex is quite a complex, has ball fields, concession stand, paved trail, picnic centers, restrooms, soccer fields, and walking trails. Now, the school itself, that intensity activity level is 487 students plus administration plus support. And when you add that into the activity at Schimberg Sports Complex, that is a very busy and very high-use area that we're proposing to be a part of. Urban service area, objective number 1 is that growth should be directed into the urban service area with the goal at least 80% of all population growth will occur, which we are inside of. In terms of comprehensive plans from the schools, they want elementary schools that are proximate to, within walking distance of residential neighborhoods they intend to serve. Well, these homes will be specifically walking distance to the schools. In regard to FDOT for schools, they have a safe route to schools, which they want residents close to schools, walkable, safe, which is exactly what this development would be in regard to the schools, the school next door. Integrate active recreational parks, regional parks, preserves, and other trails with aspect to the built environment. Utilize parks to inspire a sense of place and as gathering spaces for the community under policy 1.2.1. Integrate and design recreational facilities to be well connected and walkable to residential areas and communities serving uses and facilities. Well, that certainly is the case here. These are objectives of policies in the comp plan that we do meet and meet quite well. Objective 1.1, support a range of housing options to affordably meet the needs of current and future residents. Well, we all know, I think the stat that we hear is 1,000 people move to Florida every day. We have to provide housing and affordable housing, and that's what this project does. Provides housing at a different type of housing than what's out there now. Support a range of housing options, which it does, and affordable. 1.1.8, encourage a variety of housing types, including single-family, multifamily, and missing middle housing. Missing middle housing is exactly what this project is. To diversify the housing stock and provide Hillsborough County residents with more housing options across a range of income levels. That is what is desperately needed in Hillsborough County, and that's what this project provides. 1.1.10, support rental housing opportunities, encourage permanently affordable rental units, which is exactly what this project does. Objective 1.5, strategically locate housing in conjunction with supportive transportation structure. I'll come back to that in a minute. Policy 1.5.1, locate affordable housing accessible to key economic spaces, transit corridors, retail, cultural, educational, recreational facilities. 1.5.2, consider that near access to transit may lower households' combined housing and transportation costs. 1.5.3, 1.5.4, residential growth near transit corridors. Now, out in this area, there's really only one route, which is number 30, which runs along Hanley, which runs from town to country all the way downtown. That's walkable distance for an outstanding direct transit line, which is exactly what comp plan after comp plan after comp plan policy I just read to you meets. Section 3.0, Conservation Environmental Lands Review, had no objections, comments, and concerns. As Jillian indicated, there is an area that is a former landfill, which Hillsborough County has been working with the applicant, and the applicant has told me that Hillsborough County is moving quickly towards the completion of that effort. They have access to the site, and the site has been, again, is very close to finish being cleaned up, as the applicants told me. Now, one thing to correct is the report indicates, and Jillian indicated, that the site is in this coastal high hazard area, and we got in very late. If I could switch to the overhead, we got in very late where exactly it is. Can we switch over, Mr. Chairman? Thank you. So the project is located here, here, and here. This is the area of coastal high hazard area that came in very late from the Hillsborough County staff. And under the PD, that area has already been accounted for. There's no residential units in that coastal high hazard area. So that's the only area that impinges into the site. If we could go back to the PowerPoint overhead, please. Thank you. Analysis of the traffic impacts. The staff has reviewed the traffic analysis related to CPA 23.08. Based on the traffic analysis information provided by the applicant and the Planning Commission, which is very intensive now, there is adequate capacity to accommodate the additional generated trips proposed by future land use, this future land use amendment. That is in your staff report. Planning staff report notes the general vicinity is mainly comprised of residential uses that range from 4 to 6 dwelling units per gross acre and allowable commercial intensities ranging from 0.25 to 0.35. With great respect to the staff who do a great job, we think they've missed the ball on that because I've shown you that by far, by many, many times, the largest future land use category in this immediate area, adjacent or abutting to the site, or the critical one, is the public, semi-public, that drives a lot of use for this site. And in regard to transition, under Comprehensive Policy 16.2, this provides a good transition from a higher use of multifamily to a lower use, single family. That's a classic transition from this active site of the school and the sports complex. So in summary, the future land use categories and uses are driven by the PQP, which is the highest possible development, which is unbridled, uncontrolled in terms of density and intensity and uses. Meets many comp plan policies for housing, location, surrounding public infrastructure, provides an affordable housing component, and provides an alternative range of housing that is not existing in the area. Emphasis of the staff review has been on the residential, not in the main drivers of the vicinity. So that, Mr. Chairman, we appreciate your attention. We appreciate the attention of the citizens and look forward to any questions or concerns you may have.
Thank you. All right, we did have quite a few people sign up in the public comment for this one, so start going down my list. I guess I'll start online first with Anna Carletti. Is Anna Carletti on the line, HTV? And I'd like to remind everyone that you have 3 minutes per person. Just keep it to 3 minutes. We have a lot of people signed up to speak.
Anna, can you hear us? Here we had a few people sign up after the meeting had started, so I'm just going to open up their mics right now and ask them if Anna's on the line.
Okay.
Anna, if you have signed on, you have been called upon. Mr. Chair, I don't hear her.
Okay, we'll move on. All right, next up I have Sam Nashag.
Sir, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner. Sam Nashag, resident 2 blocks away. Just wanted to reiterate the points that were made by your staff that this amendment would allow for development that's out of scale with the current development. I'm not anti-growth. I think maybe some of my neighbors are, I may disagree with them a little bit, but I am anti-growth to this extreme. The gentleman presenting it mentioned it himself. Transition to density should be there. This is not a transition. This is engulfing a residential 4 with round and wrapping around a residential 9 complex. There's no transition there. It's basically going from a quiet neighborhood that has a charm and character called town and country for a reason, taking away almost all those trees and throwing in a res 9 inside. I just wanted to point out that I agree with your staff that this is inconsistent. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up we have Michael Claude.
Hey. I'm here.
Yes, please go ahead, Michael.
I'm against growth.
It's kind of difficult to hear you. You're breaking up. Did we lose him?
Michael, can you hear us?
No. Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Bottom line up front, I'm against it because we're all single-family homes in here. We don't want apartments. It's way too busy over there as it is, and it would be terrible impact. And that's it.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, next up we have, oh boy, please forgive me, Stephanie Facciaponte.
Stephanie, are you on the line? No response, Mr. Chair.
All right, we'll move along. Next up. Oh, okay. All right, I guess that was it then. For online, we have people obviously here in person who want to speak also. Let's start with Donald Richardson.
Good evening. My name is Donald Richardson. I live at 7301 Summer Bridge in 12 Oaks. And I probably represent the majority of the people who oppose this project, but I'd like to make some comments regarding staff and what I see myself. I'm a PhD plant biologist. I own an environmental company. So first, I'd like to agree that the County Parks and Rec does not support the use of the Soccer Avenue as because it's an entrance road and not a public road. I'm not sure how they would transition from Armand into a public road, since it's really an access roadway to Schimberg. The request for zoning change from an R4 to 6 to an R9 is not compatible and not consistent with the surrounding zoning. So that's a big deal, and staff pointed that out. The increased residential density within the coastal housing hazard area is not supported, even though they showed a little thing that said it was already taken out of the equation. 4, the site's a landfill. It's currently being monitored by DEP for methane gas release and water quality. I understand that there is some operation to clean that up. 5, in my own study of the site, of the 30-acre site to the east of the school, based on USGS soils map, approximately 16 acres or 45 to 50% of the site has hydric soils, which means it could support wetlands. I talked to EPC. EPC has not received a report for delineation or anything to that effect as of yet. That means that if those 16 acres of wetlands or of hydric soil supported wetlands, then they would have to mitigate for at least 0.5 or 8 acres into the mitigation bank, which would run over $1 million. So I bring that up. The traffic study, which everybody seems to think is no big deal, it's going to add 3,740 trips per day and 340 trips at peak hours. We're talking about traffic coming out of apartment complex into Armand, onto Armand, and then onto Berry Road, either going to Hanley or going to Benjamin. So that's and that was based on the report that you have before the meeting here. The biggest thing here is that we're talking about putting apartment buildings just north of the school.
You're going to have to wrap it up here. Your time's up. That's
Okay.
what that sound means.
All right. I just want to say one more thing, is that we also feel that the city, the county needs open space, and this site does act as a wildlife corridor for many animals moving both east and west and north and south. So in summary, I oppose the rezoning request.
Thank you, sir. All right. Next up, we have I would ask that we hold on in the excitement. We have a long list of people at 3 minutes apiece. If we want to get this done and take a vote, we got to get them in here. So, all right. Next up, we have Edward White. Please come forward.
My name is Dr. Edward White. I'm a psychologist in private practice, and have been in private practice here in Tampa area for 50 years. I know I look younger, but I've been here for 50 years. 45 years ago, I moved into a home on 7401 Spring Court in 12 Oaks. At that time, it was a very peaceful, quiet place, but then in time, the Veterans Expressway came along and started dumping traffic into 12 Oaks. And then they widened Hanley Road, so now it's a 4-lane. And 1 block from our house is a main intersection of Handley and Barry, and there's at least 1 accident on that corner every single month, probably 1 a week, but very conservatively. And I know it because I hear it. It's only a half a block from my house. The other thing, just I thought the best way to help you would be to talk from experience. You know, really appreciate the information that was just presented by the gentleman in terms of precise car numbers and all of that. But when we moved into this house 45 years ago, we used to walk 2 blocks, 2.5 blocks to one of these properties that they're talking about right next to the school. First of all 3 of our children went all the way through that school from 1st to 6th grade. Okay, the second thing is this property itself was a playground property that had a swimming pool, a diving pool, picnic areas, and within a couple of years that disappeared. The important part I want to mention about that is that was 40 years ago, and there's been a for sale sign out in front of that property for 40 years, and if nobody bought it, there must be a reason. And that would I really want you to consider seriously. Why would they turn down buying that house? My wife walks every day on that trail. In fact, she was personally responsible for the trees on both sides of that trail that were put in there. And now if this other property is going to be building up right to that trail, those trees are going to be down. And any building, as you well know, any building that is done, trees and bushes and plants and flowers and animals are going to be seriously harmed. So the thing I would really want you to consider is also it is not going to be safe for children. There are already children there in the neighborhoods, in the schools, and if you want an experience, go, not now in the summer, but in school year, there are cars bringing their children to school on both sides, and when I ride my bike, I have to stop and wait because they're bumper to bumper with bringing kids to school. And the whole process is that what was a peaceful area is already crowded, and to add this is going to be a terrible, and add more houses. If there's something like 300 houses, that means at least 600 cars, and it's already busy now. People come in from...
That's it. We're going to have to wrap it up. That's what the sound means.
Okay.
Your time is up. So if you could wrap it up.
People come in from the Benjamin Road, they come in from Hanley Road, they come in from Waters Avenue, and we have to wait coming out of our street till these cars go by. And so there's a direct experience, and many of these people who are going to speak to you, they live there, and ask them to speak to you from their experience. That's what you need to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up we have Maria Munoz, and after that, Patrick McKeon. Maria.
Hello, my name is Maria C. Munoz. I have been living in the property for 21 years. I am very affected by this project because my house will be, in the back of my house, I will have apartments now. Not only the traffic is horrible right now, it takes me like 30 to 45 minutes to make it from my house to Benjamin Road. I live in 7423 Oak Vista Circle. We have five or six more people that is being affected directly. So I would like to speak on behalf of also my neighbor who was involved in a very bad accident right there on Benjamin and Barry. His car was totaled, and his wife has been going through many problems because he has a lot of health issues. So it's very, very, very horrible to live in that area nowadays. Not only because of the traffic, a lot of people in our area walk, a lot of children walk around the area, and it's very unsafe. We have very aggressive drivers in our area right now without having 350 apartments yet. So that's going to be it's going to be a nightmare. I don't see any other way. It's a nightmare. We also I use the roads to walk. I do a lot of walking. So we're going to have, lately we have trucks that are using Berry as a transit. They crossing from Benjamin, using Berry all the way to Hanley, 2.5-ton trucks. That creates a lot of issues with the air environment. As you see, I'm having to wear a mask right now because I'm having a lot of lung problems. So it's going to create a problem in a lot of ways. Again, I will have 350 houses or apartments in my backyard. Right now, I don't have anything except animals. I do have different type of animals that I see from time to time. I believe somebody talked about mental health. That's really been an issue in Tampa, and that's going to increase if we get 350 more residents there. So not only from the safety issue, you know, the children are going to be impacted. We have a lot of senior citizens in here that live in there that are not even here because different issues. A lot of my neighbors are senior citizens, and I please implore you guys to consider this project. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up we have Patrick McKeon.
Thank you for receiving me. I just want to talk about some of the negative impacts. The man presenting the opportunity for people to use the transit system is kind of like every 30 minutes to an hour. How many people are going to ride that bus? You're going to see a few, but they're not going to be on it, even though it's very inexpensive. I was a transit operator for 41 years. Some of the negative impacts that we're going to have is it's not on a main road. It's off the main road. It's going to be coming out. You're going to need extra people out there to watch traffic. Congestion is pretty bad now. It's going to get worse. The environment is not going to be as it was. You're cutting down a lot of areas that existing people had extra growth from trees and other things, and they're going to come to pavement, and people got to get out. They're going to be driving their cars. I'm sure none of you are riding the bus regularly, if you've ever ride it at all. They have financial problems over there. They can't afford to put another bus out there. So some of the things that I do is a lot of good people, they're recycling all the time. They got their little blue boxes out there, goes in. They're not going to do that in an apartment complex. Apartment complex people, on average, stay 2 years, 7 months. People that live that have homes usually live there decades, maybe 15, 16 years. There's a big difference. They're going to be coming in and out. So you're going to have a bit different quantity of people. And maybe they'll be like me. Maybe they'll get electric mowers and grow and cut the grass instead of using gas-powered mowers. There's so many negatives to this thing. It's not going to be a pleasure for anybody to live here like it was before. We need a calming experience, not extra congestion, extra problems. And thank you again.
Thank you, sir. Oh, you need to say your name for the clerk, please, if you could. Sorry.
Patrick McKean.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up we have Ian Renton.
Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen of the Commission, good evening and thank you for listening to the objections of the 12 Oaks residents. My name is Ian Renton, retired engineer. In 1987, my wife and I bought a home on Amber Court in 12 Oaks as our future retirement home. The community was just what we were looking for. 12 Oaks was quiet, orderly, and had a friendly vibe that suited us. We found the Civic Association responsive, helping our community with special events and addressing special needs. For example, one such need was solved by building a wall to help protect our homes from the noise and disruption of traffic on Hanley Road and West Waters Avenue. We are here tonight asking for your help in stopping an ill-conceived apartment project in the heart of our community of single-family homes. After moving into our new home in 1987, life moved on. Changes happened, as they inevitably do. West Waters Avenue was widened, as was Hanley Road, and traffic became heavier. But we adapted to these changes. However, as the Hanley Waters intersection became more of a bottleneck, drivers became aware of the advantage of cutting through the quiet community of 12 Oaks. Rustic Drive, 12 Oaks Boulevard, Overbrook Drive, and Barry Road became the cut-through routes of choice. A few years ago, 12 Oaks raised our new traffic concerns to Hillsborough County, and the county added traffic islands and speed control humps. These humps did help to limit the speed, but I'm a dog walker with a rescue shelter. I've seen continued increase on the roads and continued increasing speed over the years. Since my house on Amber Court is located on the corner of Overbrook Drive, I'm well aware of what is going on. Cars speeding between traffic humps, passing other cars on the wrong side of the hump. I even saw a pickup passing a slowdown at the hump. He drove across the sidewalk, along the sidewalk. We also suffer the usual trash thrown out of car windows, loud music, and so on. We all know about that. The proposed construction of 350 or more apartments on Armour Drive will result in a rapid increase, almost overnight, of 1,000 or more vehicles driving along Barry, Overbrook, and possibly Rustic, to and from Armour Drive many times a day. This is too much to add. In addition,
All right, sir, we're going to have to ask you to wrap it up. That's what the sound meant.
Very good. I think I speak for all 12 Oaks members here tonight and those who are at home when I say stop this project and protect 12 Oaks from the threat to our lovely community. To paraphrase folk singer Joni Mitchell, let's not pave paradise and put up an apartment block. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Martha Wallace.
Hi, my name is Martha Wallace, and I'm coming from the Town and Country Park Civic Association in support of 12 Oaks. All of us have the same issues with traffic. I don't know why they think that we don't have any apartment complexes. We are just stuffed with apartment complexes. So this isn't a diverse housing, whatever we called it. All the neighborhoods, traffic's cutting through the neighborhoods. People can't back out of their driveways. They get hit. It's dangerous. It's going to affect our neighborhood not as much, but they're not going to be able to get out on Hanley Road. It's too busy. They're going to cut through the next neighborhood. The other thing is with the Town and Country Greenway. That is one of the most beautiful parts of Town and Country. It's got green, there's alligators in the canal, and that's part of the Town and Country community plan, is that we have that greenway. So that's all I got.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, next up we have Julie Hurst.
Hi, I'm Julie Hurst. I live at 6743 12 Oaks Boulevard, and I'm here representing the 12 Oaks Special District. We're concerned with this project with the safety and traffic concerns. With the 370 proposed units, they will increase traffic in our neighborhood by at least 700, if not 1,100 or more vehicles per day. The location of the proposed development is in the center of an existing community of 994 homes. There are no amenities such as grocery stores, restaurants, or office parks within walking distance of the site of the proposed development. So all of these residents will be driving through our neighborhood presumably multiple times per day. Additional traffic would come also from middle school and high school pickups and drop-offs. And even if a person doesn't take their own car, more traffic would come from car sharing services, package delivery vehicles, and food delivery traffic. I invite the commissioners to visit Berry Road at 7:30 on a weekday morning because the county decided to zone the residential neighborhood to the east of 12 Oaks that borders the Veterans Expressway, Berry Road, and Benjamin as suitable to store dump trucks. You have a nightmare of congestion with regular vehicles trying to commute to their jobs, dump trucks, and semi-trucks. Also, because of the way the Veterans Expressway support beams are positioned, you couldn't even widen the road there if you wanted to. There are also traffic and congestion concerns on the other end of Berry near Hanley Road. You have to wait through several light cycles to try to turn onto Hanley. With the addition of 700 to 1,100 vehicles, residents who live in that area of 12 Oaks will not be able to turn out of their cul-de-sacs onto Berry Road. Because Berry is bordered by residential homes on each side, it also could not be widened. A residential road could not safely be 4 lanes. We are also concerned for the safety of residents already living in the neighborhood. With that many vehicles, there will be an increase in speeding and collisions. It will also be dangerous to children and adult pedestrians and bicyclists in the neighborhood. During the school year, kids are waiting for their respective school bus pickups, which are located along Berry and throughout the neighborhood. And in fact, in the fall, it is dark when school buses are picking up the neighborhood children. In summary, we urge you as a community to reject the proposed variance to increase density to include multifamily dwellings, to protect the safety and quality of life for the existing residents in our community. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for your comments. All right, next up we have Robert Little.
My name's Robert Little. I live at 6914 Williams Drive. My home actually, my backyard looks directly into this area and everything. And I've always kind of expected that something would be happening back there at some point in time. But part of the problem that I see, and I'm going to not try not to speak about something that somebody has already brought up, but one thing that does bother me is them looking at what they were intending to do. It seemed like an incomplete plan to me because there's no reference to how they're going to get in and out. I do pavement analysis and have done for many years, about 50 years, and I do them all over the country. I've looked at this and I've seen this situation so many times I can't tell you. A developer comes in, builds the roads, and they're all residential. Berry Road is no longer considered to be a residential road. So it doesn't have the structural capacity that you should have for a collector, which is what it is now. Being on Williams, trying to get into Berry at 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning, I can't. Traffic is backed up all the way from Benjamin. Now, we were promised a light there at the intersection several years ago, but it's never occurred. So to me, that's just, unless I can see any kind of plan as to exactly how you intend to get traffic in and out of there, I just don't see any sense in even considering it any further. Even at a low an R4, you're still going to have problems with the traffic that we're having right now. And that's not being addressed. And I don't suspect it will be addressed anytime real soon because you can't address everything that's going on in the county at once. But anyway, that's my primary concern is that you're going to have to really do this properly, you need to go in there and completely rebuild Berry Road and the roads around it to really get it to be able to handle the traffic that you have. And that's really all I got to say right now.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up we have Mercita Ramos.
Hi, my name's Mercita Ramos. I reside at 7815 Greenshire Drive and have lived there for over 27 years. I am on both the 12 Oaks Civic Association Board, I'm the co-president, and I'm also the secretary of the 12 Oaks Special District. So I'm voicing my strong opposition to the proposal for the apartment complex. Actually, because it's already been stated, there are no accessible roads between the area, the apartment complex, and so forth. I traverse daily on foot and by bike on Benjamin Road, well, Berry Road and Hanley, the whole area. It's chaotic right now. I mean, at any time of the day. So to add an additional, 700 to 1,000 vehicles is just not safe. I don't see children on the roads anymore. It's not safe for them. They stay in their houses. Parents won't let them out. People put signs out. Drive like your children live here. It's not safe to let your kids even out on the street. If I see somebody speeding, I pull my bike out in front of them to see if they'll hit me just because. I'm just that, I'm sick and tired of them speeding. As far as the landfill area, it's been officially named the Berry Road Landfill number 3. I don't know how they're going to clean that up. It hasn't been cleaned up in the 27 years I've lived there. So no one's done anything in that time, and as people have said, it's been 40 years. What are they doing? I haven't seen anything being done on the property, so they say it's actively being remediated. I haven't seen it. We want our quiet community. Things aren't the way they used to be. Nothing ever is, but we'd like it to stay the way it at least is now, without another 350 apartments in there. I have an apartment in my backyard that is off of Waters Avenue, and believe me, that is a nightmare. And I don't want it for the rest of my neighbors either. To put another complex with no access roads, we're just opposed to it, and we'd like your consideration in opposing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, next up, we have Richard Eldridge.
Hi, it's Richard Eldridge, 7803 Greenshire Drive, retired sheriff's office. I know a little bit about traffic. I've designed the school zone for the schools on for the Hanley Road over there. What I'm hearing is a whole lot of heart. So I'm going to say some of the things that people don't like to hear. Apartment's going to bring a heck of a lot of crime. It's not the residents. People who commit crimes go where the goods are. You don't go to the dump to steal stuff. You go to places where stuff is. Crime is going to be there. The traffic, like it or hate it, I was at the center of all the traffic calming efforts in 12 Oaks. I was also on the motorcycle unit. We used to put 4 motorcycles out there daily. We put that in there. It went away. It started back, as several people have said. You add 3,740 trips a day with no change, because there is no place to change the road, as others have said. You've destroyed it. What I'm hearing from all of my neighbors is we don't want to lose our lifestyle. I've lived there for 30 years. I don't want to lose my lifestyle. I don't want to lose the community. I want the kids to come back outside. This is totally inconsistent. With all respect to the gentleman who spoke first, not once did he mention the residents. Not once. Why doesn't Hillsborough County buy the freaking land, make a park out of it, and ask for donations? We'll clean it up. Of course, I went off script. Always do. They mention everything. It's the heart. And things change. We know it changes. That's great. You can only change within the boundaries you have. All the technical mumbo jumbo, that, again, with all respect to the gentleman, that's the world he works in. All that technical crud means nothing to the residents of 12 Oaks when you destroy their lives. You want to see more rentals, you want to see more houses and people moving out, that's what we're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up we have Stanley Holmes.
Yes, thank you. And thank you to the 60-odd people that came here today in opposition to this proposed land change. There's about 30 or 40 here, and I think there's another 30 in the spillover room adjacent. Yes, I'm Stanley Holmes, and I live at 703 Forest View Court, and I've lived in 12 Oaks for over 40 years, along with my wife, and raised our family also. I'd like to say that we're adamantly opposed to the proposed building project adjacent to the Morgan Woods Elementary School. When we first moved to 12 Oaks, Berry Road was the main road through the neighborhood. One reason we sold that house was because back then in the 1980s, there was so much traffic on Berry Road that we bought a house a few blocks away. And now it's gotten even worse. The parcels in question will be burdened with increase in traffic, not only on Berry Road, but on the other feeder roads. These are all two-lane roads. We can foresee Overbrook Road from Berry to 12 Oaks being used by motorists on the way to Publix and other stores on Waters Avenue. The same would be true of Rustic Drive, which also runs between Berry and 12 Oaks Boulevard. Motorists trying to exit 12 Oaks at the Handley Road intersection would cause a tremendous amount of congestion. Motorists trying to exit on the east side of Berry would cause a lineup and a backup, already a problem at Benjamin Road, where the traffic backs up during the morning hours. Another problem intersection leaving 12 Oaks is at 12 Oaks Boulevard and Waters Avenue due to the amount of traffic on Waters. The backup is common there. The quality of life would be affected in a very negative way. Most of us would no longer feel safe riding a bicycle or crossing the street. The safety of Morgan Woods children, some of whom walk or ride bicycles to school, would be obviously compromised. We have made a considerable investment in our home, and we do not want to see it affected in a negative way. The land itself is known to contain toxic waste, so it is questionable whether this is a residential development to begin with. Another consideration is the wildlife in this tract of land, which would be displaced, especially in the larger parcel, which is, as you saw from the photograph, the aerial photograph, is a forest and is a potential wetland as well. So we strongly urge the Commission to disapprove this land use change. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up we have Greg Toll, or Thole. My apologies for any mispronunciation.
All right, thank you. My name is Greg Thole. I've lived in 12 Oaks for 25 years, and I also have a business on Hanley Road for 13 years. I'm adamantly opposed to this project. There is not adequate ingress or degress from the site. I confront the traffic daily. It's horrendous. It is absolutely impossible going on Hanley Road, on Hanley Road to take a left onto Berry. You have to wait through an immense amount of traffic. Also, about several years ago, they put in another little complex of 50 units, Bellingham Road. That added additional traffic to Berry. There's no other possible way of getting in and out of there. And as far as having other classes of people besides the community, there is a condominium project right at Hanley Road and Berry, which is probably 200 units. And also there's a Section 8 project about 6 blocks down called Hanley Place that accommodates people of different income levels and has caused a lot of crime in the area. They have robbed my store and other break-ins in the area that have lived there. In fact, I had to go to court for one of the residents of Hanley Place who got 15 years for breaking into 8 of the units. We don't want low-class people there or the additional projects of cars. You know, why do you take down a park and put up it's like take down a park and take down a parking lot and put up apartment complex. It just doesn't make sense. We have a beautiful community. I've enjoyed it, but I'm right in the center of immense amount of traffic now, congestion. I see accidents almost on a daily basis. Someone said every month. It's every day on Hanley, between Hanley and Hillsborough. There's no ingress, egress from where this place is. It's not adequate, and it's only going to ruin our neighborhood, which is, thanks to Rosemary Middleton, who is our representative of our board for years, we have a wonderful community. And bless her heart, she's not able to be here, but I just hope that this can be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we have Tom Stahl up next. Tom Stahl.
Yeah, my name is Tom Stahl. I live in 12 Oaks Villas. It's a small community of condos that is on the northeast section of the bigger plot of land of that 40 acres or so. We have about 26 condo single-story units, and we're on about 20 acres. So our opposition is you're taking an area that's twice the size of ours. We built 26 houses, or 26 condos on this one area on about 20 acres. They want to put 370 units on twice the size of what we have. So we're opposed to it because of the traffic, the noise. My particular unit, 6214 Pina Colada, looks right over into this area at Caddy Corner. So we oppose for the noise and for the traffic. So I just wanted to put that out, that 12 Oaks Villas also is in favor, aligned with 12 Oaks and Town and Country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Next up, we have Manuel Santiago. Come on down.
My name is Manuel Santiago, and I live in 12 Oaks for 33 years. I simply want to make a statement. If you look around, I believe that everybody around here has got to be over 40 years of age. And we all know what affordable housing means. Affordable housing, affordable housing, affordable housing. In an established neighborhood that there's upper age people living in is conducive to bringing the area down. And that is simple as apple pie. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have Anthony Gomez.
My name is Anthony Gomez. I live at 7436 Oak Vista Circle. I lived here all 19 years of my life, and I wasn't ready to speak. But I think it would be a bad thing. Be too much traffic. The traffic is bad as it is. All the intersections, Hanley and Berry, Hanley and Berry and Benjamin. There's accidents. Some are fatal, and we don't need more of that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I noticed that these people are saying they weren't planning to speak. So if you're on this list but you didn't want to speak, you can say you didn't want to speak. All right. Next up is Gracery.
Grace McComas, you're the.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. And I wonder if Linda.
I'll say it anyway.
Yeah.
Linda Mann. Linda Mann. Nope. Okay, well, let me try these two then. Lawrence Collis or Janelle Smith? Is this Linda? Welcome.
I'm Linda Mann, and I want my neighbors and the commission here to know that I'm against this project. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. All right. So no Lawrence Collis or Janelle Smith? Just checking, going once, going twice. Nope. All right. Then that is all we had for people sign up for the public comment. So now if the applicant is still here. Yeah. Okay, you want me to do a, okay, hang on a second, Mr. Pressman. You can stay there. I'm just gonna do a show of hands if you're opposed to this, everyone. All right. Seems to be clearly a lot of people. All right, and put them down. Let's see all the hands who are in favor of it. All right. Okay, Mr. Pressman.
Got one. Got one here.
All right, Mr. Pressman, your response.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and to the citizens, residents who've been very respectful, very nice, I thank you. Appreciate any resident that comes on down and has concerns about the community. But I believe we can look at this, or I would ask you to consider facts versus emotion. And there's a lot of emotion here, and that's understandable, and I accept that, and I think that's been well presented to you. But the facts are this. The facts are that the comp plan calls for a range of housing types, different housing types, calls for affordable housing, calls for multifamily and single family. And I'm sure, I don't attend your meetings except for these hearings, I'm sure there have been many discussions, as there are with the Board of County Commissioners, about the critical housing need in Hillsborough County. So here we are with an infill project who your staff has reviewed a very intensive and very aggressive transportation report. They've really upped that in the last 2 cycles and tells you that transportation is adequate. I understand residents who live in an area and have to deal with Hillsborough County traffic. It's a problem, and they have concerns, and those have been voiced to you. But those are the facts versus the emotion. You've often been showed that this is a great transportation corridor. You've all had many, many discussions, the Board of County Commissioners has, to provide housing near transportation corridors and routes. This is a tremendous transportation corridor. It runs right from Hanley all the way into downtown, and you can get into regional areas or transfer points. As far as I can see from the aerial and certainly the zoning, this is a sea of single-family homes, and they're beautiful homes, and they're beautiful neighborhoods. Who wouldn't want to be a part of it? But the fact is, again, many, many, many comp plan policies direct to provide housing for the missing middle, for the affordable, and for folks who can't afford a home or save money for a home and want to live in a very nice community. That's what this is about. So we would ask you to consider all of those elements on the factual basis as a Planning Commission. We believe that this is very well supported, and beyond that is very well needed. So again, I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and board members, and the citizens who came down this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So it is now to us, commissioners, for comments, questions, and discussions of this item before us. Commissioner Buzza.
It's probably for staff. The parts of the property were future land use R6. What would have been was there a calculation done on what the R6 would have been for total number of units available on the entire property? I think that they've
for just the Res 6 portion?
Yeah. I think the applicant stretched from R9, was a little road too far.
So
If you don't, that's fine. I'm just curious if that had been up in your calculations.
yeah, we did do individual calculations for each category. I think the Res 6 portion is the portion that's farthest to the east. And it says here that it would allow a consideration of 187.
Yeah, and I was thinking about the R6 going over to the other parcels that were quasi-public as opposed to, that would have been a better buffer, I think. Thank you.
Ooh, all right, Commissioner Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As far as this site goes, I completely agree with the residents for the forested area to the east. If you look back, there's even a trail system goes through there, some wetlands. It does abut the Town and Country Greenway. It really would, make a great park. With that said, the parcel to the west to me also, makes sense for an apartment complex. It's on an old brownfield site. It is closer to Hanley. The the transportation department is going to be installing sidewalks along that area to Hanley. So I think there, could almost be a compromise here. The forested park definitely, in my opinion, should be preserved. Maybe open up those trails again, but the other site to me also makes a lot of sense for apartments. And I do just want to say, the apartments aren't going to always attract, people you don't want. I lived in an apartment here in Tampa for over 15 years. So, we have to understand we do have a need for housing. A lot of you are, you said, been in the neighborhood for 35 years. Well, try to find an apartment in Tampa. It's very expensive right now. So we do need some more housing. So that's what I just have on the sites.
Thank you, Commissioner Fernandez. Let's not have any yelling from the audience. We were respectful when you all were talking, so let's try and show the same respect for everyone talking, please. Thank you. Sorry, Melissa or Anita.
I quickly did the calculation on that public quasi piece. 6 units per acre would be 49 units, whereas the 9, I just lost my place, I think was 74 units.
Thank you.
All right, were there any more questions, discussion items I'm not seeing? Yes, Commissioner Handy.
I'm looking at, just looking at the aerial view and kind of zooming out a little bit, and I agree with Commissioner Fernandez that the green space would be lovely to keep in this urbanized area, and that is something that Tampa is woefully short of. And there are certainly a lot of connections and a lot of trails that I think the community has a right to want to preserve and be proud of, and creek systems that ultimately flow down, it looks like, to Sweetwater Creek, like ultimately down to the south. And we can ill afford to lose any of those amenities when it comes to trails and green spaces. So thank you, citizens, for coming down and being heard. I realize this is, I assume, a privately held parcel, so open to whatever whims of the owners and developers. But I did want to point out that some of those connecting green spaces are really positive amenities to this area of the community, and commend you for wanting to hold on to those.
Thank you, Commissioner Handy. Yes, Commissioner Cardenas.
Yeah, kind of, looking at the larger portion there, it's just so far back. I don't see how it makes sense to approve an apartment complex like that with a school there and a park there. I mean, not only do those areas get a ton of backup traffic, I mean, we see it in every part of the city. Wherever there's an elementary school, there's a ton of backup of traffic. And then to have it all the time, and then to have kids out there playing sports, and to just have, I mean, I can't really figure out how they plan to gain access straight through without going through a residential, and that little 2-lane street Armand, it's so small. It doesn't make any sense.
Thank you, Commissioner Cardenas. All right. Are there any? Well, we haven't voted yet, so don't get too excited now. Are there any more questions, comments, or discussion items from the commissioners? I am not seeing any lights at this time, going once, going twice. I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment then and open it up to motions from the commissioners on the item before us. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I'm going to move that we find HCCPA 23-08 inconsistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan, and that we pass that recommendation along to the County Commission for their consideration.
All right, Commissioner Buzza.
I will second the motion.
All right, we have a motion of inconsistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein and a second to that motion by Commissioner Buzza. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Not seeing any, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Loke,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for the information. Thank you all for coming out and speaking. Just a reminder to take that energy also to the Board of County Commissioners, because it's not over till it's over, but great to see you all tonight. Thank you for coming. All right.
Oh, here comes Bryn. Okay, I was gonna say, I asked staff to give up their seats.
Oh, it's gotta go, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, just a reminder, everyone, we're still continuing, so if you can make your way out as quietly and as quickly as possible, we would appreciate it. All right, we're coming back to order here. We're going to continue on. So to those talking at the back of the room, please exit if you want to speak, because we are continuing on with our proceedings. Next up, we have item 2E, HCCPA 2309, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, 1005 Kingsway Road, and the presenter is Bryn Dauphiné.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Bryn Dauphiné with your Planning Commission staff. I'm here to discuss HCCPA 23-09, 1005 North Kingsway Road. This is a privately initiated small-scale amendment on one parcel located on 14.47 acres. The applicant is requesting to go from residential 4 to residential 9. The site is in the eastern part of the county. It's within the Seffner Mango Community Plan and also within the urban service area. As you can see here, the plan amendment site is in the northeast quadrant of the intersection of East US Highway 92 and North Kingsway Road. Directly to the west, across North Kingsway Road, is Burnett Middle School, and to the north of the school is Higginbotham Park. Further to the north, up in the northwest corner, is Interstate 4. And south of the school are some light commercial uses. The amendment site is currently vacant and surrounded by residential uses to the northeast and south. This is an east view of the property from East US Highway 92. The property is on the left side. This is the west view with the property on the left-hand side as well. This is the intersection of East US Highway 92 and North Kingsway Road. The brown buildings in the corner over there are the buildings of Burnett Middle School. This is the south view from North Kingsway Road. The property is on the left. And this is the north view from North Kingsway Road. You can see the property pretty clearly right there, and you can see some of the residential uses surrounding it. The site is currently designated as Residential 4, with public, quasi-public to the west, Residential 1 in the north corner, and other Residential 4 designations surrounding it. This is a wide view to show just how close this site is to the urban service area, which is that blue line that you see running across across Interstate 4. Beyond the boundary, you will find some agricultural estate uses. This is the proposed future land use map. The applicant is proposing to go to Residential 9. As you can see, the color on the map has darkened a little bit just to show the category shift. The existing Residential 4 category allows for up to 57 dwelling units. Suburban scale non-residential uses such as neighborhood commercial, office, or mixed-use projects are permitted under that Residential 4 designation. Under the Residential 9 designation, up to 130 dwelling units would be permitted, increasing density and intensity. This designation would also introduce urban scale uses, though all non-residential development that exceeds a 0.35 floor area ratio must be set aside for office or residential support uses. Non-residential uses would also be subject to locational criteria. Planning Commission staff has reviewed the proposed application and found it to be inconsistent based on the goals, objectives, and policies of the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. This includes policy 16.2 relating to the gradual transitions of density and intensity between land uses, policies 1.4, 16.1, 16.3, and 16.8 relating to integrated and compatible development, and policy 18.1, as well as policy 12-1 of the Seffner-Mango Community Plan related to compatibility with the community plan. This item was also sent out for agency review and received an objection from Community and Infrastructure Planning. You can find that on page 26 of your packet, and that is due to the applicant not addressing some traffic insufficiencies. And with that, your Planning Commission staff recommends the proposed application, the proposed map amendment HCCPA 23-09 be found inconsistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I believe the applicant is also here.
Does the applicant have a presentation?
Oh, thank you. Well, as you can well imagine, I have a PowerPoint for you. And this is HCCPA 23-09. Thank you for the report. This is a request that is out in the east part of the county, near the Seffner area at I-4, as you can see here. And a little closer, we're on Highway 92, and again, in the east part of the county. So one of the major factors at this particular site is Burnett Middle School, which is directly across the street, Kingsway, and the site here, as you can see. The issue is R4, requested R9 at 14.47 acres. So again, with a large PQP and a second one in the immediate area, PQP allows for residential, suburban, commercial, office, multi-purpose, very intensive. And again, as I indicated previously, that is an unbridled, unrestrained future land use category. It allows for great intensity, which is a tremendously impacting and large future land use area in the immediate vicinity. Allows wide range of uses, private establishments or public, churches, hospitals, schools, clubs, recreational services, tourist attractions, very large, very intensive uses. So the area is much more on the future land use level, much more than R4. Under the zoning map as well, you can see that there's a lot of intensity along US Highway 92, which is all commercial general. In fact, the site was commercial general, and in the PD and companion, or the PD that is approved on it, not a companion. You won't hear me talk about companion again, but there's a PD approved, which is for commercial uses. But the point of the slide is that there's a tremendous amount of intensity with the PQP and with CG that runs along Highway 92. That's also because Highway 92 is a state principal arterial roadway. It is a significantly impacting and recognized state arterial roadway. The current PD entitlement, again, this is an approved PD on the property, 030753, allows for 156,816 square feet of commercial general uses already, with a long list of, I just put them in one category as abrasive uses, things that may not be acceptable, like paraphernalia sale, laundromat, funeral, mortuary, that type of thing. So that is in the record, that is permissible, allowable at this site. And as you can see in the existing PD, this commercial, which is this parcel under the PD of 14.4 acres, there's a wide area buffer, and then residential parcel noted 299 lots. Did have the neighborhood meeting, and the residents who showed up said they did prefer commercial over residential. That was the one main feedback that we did receive. Highway 92 is also specifically designated as a Hillsborough County truck route, so carrying a lot of truck traffic as well. And overall traffic on the roadway is 12,400 vehicles at one point, 9,600 vehicles at the other point. And pulling away, again, you can see the intensity along Highway 92, which is what this site is in, and that maintains and carries itself through. So part of what we're looking at is what is the trend, what's the existing entitlements, what are the existing impacts at the site, which again primarily include a PQP, which is across the street, which is unbridled, unlimited, unrestrained density, impacts, and intensity. And again, of the 31 categories that you regulate and consider, only natural resources has the same unbridled level of development. And particularly at this school, which is right across the street, 674 students are every day coming and going, plus administration, plus support staffs. That is a big entity, that is a big impact coming every day, which we believe matches what we're asking for, along with the intensity along the roadway that you've seen. Under the urban service area, the directive is that 80% of, or directing new growth into the urban area with the goal of at least 80% of the population will occur within the urban service area. Objective 1.1, support a range of housing options to affordably meet the needs of current and future residents. Again, a mix of housing is desired and directed. Encourage a variety of housing types, including single-family and multifamily, and again, the missing middle housing, which is so desperately needed. To diversify the housing stock, provide Hillsborough County residents with more housing options across a range of income levels. Linking housing and transportation strategically, locate housing in conjunction with supportive transportation infrastructure. Well, there is one major transportation piece of infrastructure, and that is a state arterial highway, which runs right abutting the site. Planning Commission staff notes the immediate area surrounding the east, north, and south has a future lands category 4 dwelling units per acre to the west. They do recognize the public, quasi-public category does not permit residential development, but we would submit to you with respect to the staff, with great respect to the staff, that what needs to be included in their evaluation and their presentation is the largest, biggest 80-pound gorilla of the PQP, which is right next door, right across the street. They note the area is not transitioning to a medium or higher density development pattern, but when you look at what we're proposing, which would be a higher category, following to the single residential, it is a perfect transition, higher to lower, along comprehensive policy 16.2 for transition. Policy 16.2 requires, again, those gradual transitions of intensities between different land uses through professional site planning, which you've seen on the PD plan I showed you. There's plenty of buffering between the uses, noting buffering and screening, and the control of specific land uses. Comprehensive plan on the transportation element, policy 2.1.6, offer incentives for higher land use densities and intensities along transit emphasis local service corridors. So this comp plan policy is telling you not only to consider higher density at sites like this, but to provide incentives that that's really where they should be, which is exactly this type of roadway, which is a truck route and a state arterial highway. Summary. Site has extensive commercial entitlement already. Site's driven by intensity of its neighbor. There's a transition step down, and along with the state principal arterial highway and the buffering I've shown you, along with the intensity of the underlying zoning, and along with many comp plan policies that support it, we believe this is an application that you can well support. So with that, we appreciate your attention and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we did have a couple people sign up for this one. I'm going to call this name first because it's hovering out here. Kevin Cash. Is there a Kevin Cash here?
Is there a Kevin Cash on the line?
I don't think so. They're supposed to be in person. It says
Okay.
here, so nope, doesn't look like they're here. So we will go on to Grace McCumus, I believe, wanted to speak on this one.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me? Because I always do this wrong.
Yes.
My name is Grace McComas. I live at 8050 Darby Street, and I'm always opposed to using the comp plan amendment as a change for higher density right off the bat. But I'm also opposed to the increase from R4 to R9 because the area that you're talking about, I don't know if any of you have ever seen it, but it still has some suburban nature, although so many different approvals in the past have added to the densities. And in fact, I guess Mr. Pressman just had one on Taylor Road. But I really don't think that R9 is appropriate on this property. It's just across from the middle school, and the traffic is not like these poor people that just talked to you before. But when I-4 has an accident, we are the road for people to get back and forth east or west. And when school is in session and there's no left-hand turning lane, which is, according to DOT, won't go in until the highway is widened to 6 lane, which heaven knows when that'll be. But the traffic now is not terrible, but it is not passable or usable many hours of the day because of the warehouse down the street, the Amazon warehouse, and all the trucks that are coming out of there on a daily basis in and out. There's no signalization there because of location from Kingsway, it's not possible. And the kids do walk to school a long distance, 2 miles, in relatively suburban, rural area to the school. And the traffic does have to take a part in this. Mr. Pressman stated during a previous presentation he had that R9 produced so much traffic that his project was going to solve that problem by reducing the density. And I mean, it's like you can't have it both ways. You can't say it's not going to harm, and it is going to harm in 2 different amendment changes. Anyway, I'm very nervous and I don't do this well. I spoke with Mr. Pressman recently, and at that time the applicant had no real use for the land. They had no plan for what they were going to do. He spoke a lot about housing today. Well, everybody talks about housing because, yeah, we do need affordable housing, but it's kind of like a little thing you push in there, like an emotion thing to get people wanting to do things. But he said that they had no planned use at this time, and he didn't really mention a planned use at this time. So if he gets R9, there's many, many choices that would be totally inconsistent, incompatible, and not only against the Planning Commission opinion, but also the Sefner-Mango Community Plan. So I know this is jazzed up, and I'm not very good at doing these things, but I thought this meeting, because I don't know all about the politics, I thought it was just rather to say you approve the change, but without all the other stuff. So I tried to write some things that are important to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we have one more in-person. I'm going to switch to online. Is that you? Elizabeth Belcher.
Now you false advertising. Elizabeth Belcher, Sefner Mango. I want to state that I agree with the recommendations provided by the government. County, this is incompatible with the Sefner Mango Community Plan. It is absolutely nothing more than a backdoor attempt to rezone the land so that there's no notice to the community or true oversight. The proposed changes will show an overly dense eyesore to be built next to the development of nice houses on quarter-acre lots with no gradual change in density that people have emphasized about moving from urban to rural. I was involved in the rezoning of the original parcel from Orange Grove to a subdivision. This is what they were talking about cutting out that 14 acres. The 14-acre plot was carved out to be a commercial mall with no stripped office development on Highway 92. And quite honestly, the community at that time did not want more commercial strip development along Highway 92, and that's why we cut it out and made the compromise for the light commercial. And I don't quite understand what the concept is with saying that it's an RS4 that is unbridled development, because quite honestly, I thought our R4 was more restrictive than our R9. And you've got to remember that there's a middle school right across the street from this piece of property. Okay. I was also involved in writing the Sefner Community Plan. We, the citizens of the community plan, wanted less density than the land development plan, but we could not take away zoning rights changes. So, but we did say that there would be no additional density. We didn't allow more additional zoning development density. We wanted to keep it as it was. There's a lot of bad zoning in that area, but it is what it is. I also believe that this piece of property is within a 2-mile radius of Armwood High School. Armwood High School is overcrowded. They're already busing the children there, students there, to a school in Ybor. And my question would be is, if they add more students to this area, are they going to bump the kids that are already going there and force them to go to be bused to Ybor? And like I said, backdoor zoning has a lot more effects than just building houses. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was the last individual we had sign up for the public comment on this item. So, Mr. Pressman, if you would like to provide a response.
Well, it's hard to debate these two fine women back here who are very nice women and were actually quite friendly. But the fact is that there is a significant commercial entitlement in place, and that's just something to make you aware of. And I think if you consider the comp plan policies that I presented to you, they check off many, many of the boxes that not only, again, are comp plan amendments, but are the direction that the county is trying to provide for housing in the area. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members.
Thank you, Mr. Pressman. All right, to the board members, comments, questions, discussions on this item? Not seeing any lights lighting up. Oh, Commissioner Loudon.
It's an interesting case to me. I mean, what do we have here? We have good infrastructure, good roads. We're close to I-4. It provides a mix of housing. We're not dealing with the dreaded high coastal, high hazard area. But it's Res 4 to Res 9. It's 57 to 130 units. When I say this as the commissioner, there's probably maybe 2 pro-growth, hanging my hat on generally the 20% of the urban service area. I'm pro 20%. I'm pro-growth. I think the urban service area in general having 80% of our growth and there's bad policy. It ultimately drives the price of housing up, and it achieves the exact opposite of what we're trying to do, which is provide affordable housing. Having said that, R4 to R9, it's a bridge too far. I think we can find a better solution for this property. I would encourage the applicant to do that.
Thank you, Commissioner Lau. Commissioner Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, this site to me, you know, we do have good infrastructure, and we also have a park across the street. I mean, if we are going to have housing, there's a basketball court, or swings, the whole deal. You know, children would be able to walk to their park right across the street, even to their school. You know, I can't find anything wrong with this property where it comes to flooding, infrastructure, wetlands, nothing of that nature. So I think it, you know, it makes sense to me.
Commissioner Bernstein. Oop, turn it on. You turned it off.
My observations in a slightly different direction. I invite Mr. Pressman to come up to address this, and also our staff, but this is the second or third time in a row, I think, that we've heard extensive reference to the proximity to a PQP. And I think in the months leading up to this, I've not heard a lot of discussion about this. And Mr. Pressman, with all due respect, it comes across to me almost as if there's a suggestion with reference to terms like unbridled that comes up many times in your presentation. This notion that virtually anything goes in an area that's in close proximity to the PQP, and I just was wondering if you care to address that. And I don't want to mischaracterize your comments, but I bring it up because to me, compatibility is an important criterion, and I know it's one that our staff found important as well, or they wouldn't have rendered a recommendation of inconsistency. And I have a hard time reconciling the compatibility concerns in this and some other cases we've heard today with this notion that it happens to be in close proximity to this PQP parcel. So, you know, help us, if you can, try to reconcile that tension.
Well, I appreciate the question. I appreciate the opportunity to come up and speak again on specifically on that issue. One of the first actions that your staff takes and that I would take and you would take is look at a future land use map and very simply look at what are the surrounding, abutting, and nearby future land use categories. Well, that's what I do. And when I looked at this site and again the other site, one thing became very clear, that your staff was considering the R4s or the R6s and didn't really pay much attention to the PQPs. So when I looked at the PQPs, I quite frankly was surprised, and not to try and sell a point, but I was astonished that there are absolutely no limits to PQP. So that tells me, or it told me, going step by step in what my thinking is that you can't look at just the R4s, the R6s that may be abutting on part of it and not consider what truly is an unrestrained future land use category that in both cases, at least in my opinion, are the largest indicator of compatibility in terms of future land use categories. So I think it's pretty clear, I only mean that as comparison of future land use categories, but you can't escape, or I would suggest with respect, you can't escape what those two are designated as, which again, all 31 other categories have limits. PQP has no limits, 0.
Ms. Zornita, I think, has some comments to include.
Please, yeah.
I guess I would respectfully disagree with Mr. Pressman's assessment of the land use category, public, quasi-public. What it says under maximum floor area ratio is public facilities and uses are located throughout the county. Intensities of future public uses shall be guided by the floor area ratios of surrounding plan categories, including those of adjacent jurisdictions, to ensure compatibility with surrounding development. So how we have utilized that in a case like this, the PQP is surrounded by residential 4 predominantly, and 6, which has a floor area ratio of a 0.25. So in this case, if that was vacant land and they wanted to come in and build something there, we would say the area around it is 0.25, we would impose a 0.25 floor area ratio. If we were, if you one of the maps zooms out a bit and further to the west, I think it's around where Armwood High School is, it's surrounded by community mixed use 12 land use category, which is a 0.50 FAR. And in that case, if that site was coming in, we would say, you're surrounded by a 0.50 FAR. Sometimes they're surrounded by a couple different FARs, and I can recall an instance where we've sort of averaged them. And so that is how we've utilized the wording that is adopted in the land use category. So it's meant to ensure that those public facilities are contextual to the area that they're being located in.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Both of you, thank you.
All right, we'll go to Commissioner Bowden, then I'll come to you, Commissioner Cardenas.
I just had a quick question, sir. So I guess what I'm hearing you saying is that there's a Res 4 and a Res 6, and then they have the PQP. The PQP carries a lot more weight than those other does when you're evaluating them?
Yes, sir, that's the direction. I mean, the reality, as I understand, is the school board pretty much can do whatever they want to do. They have a lot of liberties in terms of their developments and how they want to develop. But yes, that is the point, is consider all those categories. And again, with respect to the staff, we feel that they did not include that as much in the reports or their review as they should have.
Okay. So when we're setting values to those areas, would you use that consistently or just only with, and the only reason I'm getting to this point is that that as my thinking is as I'm evaluating something for usage, then if I'm looking at a Res 4, Res 9, or Res 12, for lack of a discussion, then I'm going to say, well, maybe I put a Res 35 here because when I start to utilize these factors, I'm weighing each one differently, and I'm going to do this based on that weighing of that particular one that maybe could trip me up possibly. So that's where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to.
Yeah, in that direction. I mean, as an example, for this particular site, it's 674 students plus administration and support staff. That's a big impact. That is a significant impact on a daily basis. That's why it's under PQP, also because of the use. So yes, it's just looking, as I do and as you do and the staff does, is looking at a map that has colors on it that designate different densities. And all we're saying is the PQP can carry a very heavy load.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. We don't take any more questions from the public. This isn't a question and answer session. You had your chance to speak, and now it's our turn to kind of ask the questions. I apologize. Commissioner Cardenas, please.
So I'm up in this area all the time, and for one, it's kind of a weird mishmash of an area, right? You go through some corridors and you go through some areas where you've got houses that look like more of a community, which is like back here, right behind that area. But before that and in between it, all on the left side is these commercial style areas with these little homes that are scattered throughout. You know, when you look at it from some of the map pictures that are shown to us, you know, you see every single one of the property lines, and it just looks like an organized neighborhood, but it's really not. If you zoom in and you drive the area, a lot of these structures are old, falling apart, and eventually, as you have all this commercial development, they're just slowly going to kind of turn. But if you look south of 92, if this property was south of 92, I'd probably feel different about it. But all of this, that whole US Highway 92 corridor, if you drive up it on the left side, you've got a ton of commercial. On the right side, you have some commercial too. But farther south on the right, you've got a lot more residential. You know, the area to me seems like on the north side of 92, it's going in that commercial direction. And something like this makes more sense to me just because, you know, if you drive the area, you kind of see which way it's going. It just kind of generally makes sense. So.
All right. Commissioner Fernandez.
Thank you. I'm trying to also wrap my head around the densities because this single-family RS4 next door, it looks to have FARs well over 0.75 per lot for single-family homes. So, I mean, if you take a look at them, they look like the houses are about 6 feet away from each other, and then a 10-foot backyard. So I'd get it if we were at a 0.25 FAR, but right across the street from the park and the school, we have these kinds of densities, and this property is adjacent to that. So I'm just not sure why that's such a big deal to have a slightly more intense use on the major roads. So.
All right. Were there any more comments or discussion items, questions from the commissioners? Everybody
Yes.
seems, yes, Commissioner Handy, please.
I'm kind of in the middle between what my fellow commissioners Fernandez and Loke both said, but Lauk, sorry. That yes, it looks like a great opportunity for urban infill, and why not put more density there? But I can't help but notice the Community and Infrastructure Department objected, even though it is on this transportation corridor. And with respect to the community plan, it seems like the community, it doesn't fit with the vision of the community plan. And Res 4 appears to be a fairly decent compromise with some light retail and commercial, and you still get 58 units. So, I mean, that's just my comment. On the surface, it looks like, yeah, why not develop it to the maximum? But with those other caveats, I would support the inconsistent finding.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Cardenas.
And this is not directed to you, but just because I thought about it earlier. Again, if you drive around there, it doesn't feel like there's a community plan in there. It's just super choppy everywhere. I go out there to buy gravel all the time, and there's a gravel spot just a little bit farther north, west of that, but it just doesn't flow right, the whole area.
All right. Are there any more comments or questions, discussion items from the commissioners? I am not seeing any lights or much excitement, so I will go on ahead and close the public comment on this item and open the floor up for motions from the commissioners on this item. Commissioner Handy.
Yes, I move that we find HC CPA 23-09 inconsistent along with staff findings.
All right, we have Commissioner Handy with a, Commissioner Lau?
Second.
All right, we have Commissioner Handy with a motion of inconsistency finding. Commissioner Lauk with a second to that motion. Are there any comments, discussion from the commissioners? Not seeing any. I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Cardenas?
No.
Fernandez?
No.
Handy?
Yes.
Loke?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 6-2. Commissioners Cardenas and Fernandez voted no.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have 2F HCCPA 2310, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment 17438 Dorman Road, and the presenter is Carla Llanos.
Carla Llanos with Planning Commission staff. This is HCCPA 23-10, also known as 17438 Dorman Road. This is a privately initiated small-scale comprehensive plan amendment on 4.2 acres in size. The request is going from residential 2 future land use category to residential 4. The subject site is located in southern Hillsborough County. It is the eastmost plan amendment for the April cycle of 2023. Property is located within the South Shore Area Wide Systems plan, and it is within the close to the border of the urban service area, but it is within the urban service area. The subject site, again, it's southern Hillsborough County, so we're looking at the subject site, and right in proximity, you have Boyette Road, and then it fronts on Dorman. To the west of the property, you do have large single-family subdivisions, varying lot sizes between both of the subdivisions that are there. In particular, it's called Fishhawk Community. And then you do have over to the east, you have a large utility easement, about 100 feet wide, 100, 150, more or less. And then it starts to transition into rural, large lot, single family, and some agricultural uses. This is a view of the subject site on its north facing Dorman Road. So this is the subject site here. And then this is the eastbound view of Dorman Road. And then here we're looking directly across, we're looking at the southeast entrance view of the property. So you have like a sidewalk, and it has some nice trails, some areas where people can walk. This is to the west and northern boundary of the subject site. It is abutting another subdivision directly behind, so I'll point to it with my arrow. So this is the subject site over here on the other side of the fence. Directly behind that, that's a large stormwater retention area of that subdivision. And then on this side of the fence, which is the western side, there's a playground that's also part of that adjacent subdivision. The adopted future land use category is residential 2. That allows you 2 dwelling units an acre or 0.25 FAR. Now, as you can see on the site, the entire area is mostly composed of residential 2 or residential plan 2, or the RP2 category. So again, the area is mostly 2 dwelling units an acre. The proposed future land use category is going to residential 4. This does allow you an increase in density. It's 4 dwelling units an acre. It does stay at the same FAR, which is 0.25. Now, the uses are exactly the same. They still allow residential, neighborhood commercial, etc. The only thing that does change, again, is the density. So under the existing future land use category, you're allowed up to 8 dwelling units or 45,000 square feet of non-residential. Under the proposed, you're just increasing it, and it goes up to 16 dwelling units or 45,000 square feet of non-residential. So essentially, the non-residential portion stays the same. You do have an increase in density. Now, next steps is it is going to the Board of County Commissioners adoption hearing. That's scheduled for August 17th. And then Planning Commission staff did review for consistency with the comprehensive plan. We looked at compatibility policies, so we looked at the surrounding density in the area. We did find that due to the varying lot sizes, the proposed 16 maximum units could equate to what's in the area. We did look at the neighborhood protection and gradual transition policies, found those consistent. We looked at community design component and compatibility, and we also looked at the South Shore area-wide systems plan. We all found it compatible with the comprehensive plan. So in short, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the future of unincorporated Hillsborough County comprehensive plan. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or a presentation from the applicant?
Yes, Colin Rice. I'm here virtually. You hear me okay?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Terrific. Should I share screen, or is I sent a PowerPoint? I just want to make sure I do it properly.
I believe you can share your screen if HTV has given you that ability.
If you go down to the button that says share,
okay,
you'll be able to share your PowerPoint that way.
Perfect. Sorry, it's asking for my password.
Okay.
HTV, I think you might also have it to share it. I don't know what's easier.
I have not received any PowerPoint presentations.
Okay.
Send it to Kristen and Carla. I don't know why I'm not having permission sharing.
Okay, we can share it then from here.
Okay, I apologize. Perfect, there it is. Should I just say next slide? Sorry, that's a little clunky. Okay, I guess we'll go with that. All right, thanks for your patience here. If we could actually start at the beginning. So good evening, my name is Colin Rice with the law firm of Older Lundy, 1000 West Cass Street in Tampa, here on behalf of the property owner and applicants Petru and Lavinia Velosin. We're here to request a small-scale future land use map amendment from R2 to R4. Next slide, please. So to orient you, as Carla had alluded, and I appreciate staff's hard work on this, they've been wonderful. We're in the southeastern Hillsborough County, near Lithia, just south of Fishhawk Boulevard, west of Boyette Road, and within the urban service area in the South Shore Community Planning area. The property borders Fishhawk Ranch CDD to the immediate west and northern borders. Next slide, please. Zooming in, you can see the properties to the north, west, and southwest are part of Fishhawk Ranch. The property immediately to the east is owned by Tampa Electric and used for buffering of raised transmission lines, which run diagonal to the site. To give you a sense of scope, the clearing is 100 feet wide. What we're going to demonstrate here is we feel this is a really compatible site, and that you've got consistent residential development immediately to the west and natural buffering elsewhere. Next slide, please. To the left, we have the south frontage of the site from Dorman Road, and to the right is right underneath those transmission lines to give you a sense of the distance between our site and the lower density uses much further to the east. I do want to point out future land use policy 16.1 requires buffer areas and screening between unlike land uses. We're fortunate to have this TECO property right next door to serve that purpose. Next slide, please. So again, we're seeking to go from R2 to R4, currently surrounded by R2 and RP2, but the developments to the west and to the north are consistent with the development that would be potentially allowable here by an R4 future land use change. Many of the lots in the area are under half an acre, and the lots immediately to the west are closer to a quarter acre. This is a very compatible maximum density that we're seeking here. Also want to note for your consideration future land use policy 16.10, which states that any density increases have to be compatible with existing proposed or planned surrounding development. We feel we have met that. In addition, future land use policy 1.2 encourages development within the urban service area to be at least 4 dwelling units per acre, which we are seeking. And again, the commercial development is unaffected. It would only be the residential density. Worth pointing out too, there are no environmental features or wetlands on site that would merit preservation. Next slide, please. Again, we're grateful to staff for their hard work on this. We're proud to have earned a recommendation of consistent. Next slide, please. We held a voluntary applicant initiated neighborhood meeting on May 17th. We had 3 neighbors in attendance from the neighborhood to the west. It was very productive. I can understand how receiving one of these letters in the mail might raise some questions or confusion, but it was a great conversation. And as far as we're aware, we answered all those questions, and we haven't heard of any opposition to this project. Next slide. So to conclude, we respectfully request your approval this evening to go from residential 2 to residential 4. Again, grateful to county staff for their hard work on this. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you again for your time this evening.
Thank you. All right. We didn't have anyone sign up for the public comment on this item, so it goes to the commissioners for comments, questions, and discussions. Commissioner Laux, sorry.
Maybe a question for Tracy or Melissa. If I'm not mistaken, in June we voted to change our bylaws to have our applicants in person. I'm wondering when that goes into effect, and if it's already gone into effect, what that means for this particular application.
So bylaws amendments take 2 hearings, and so the second hearing is going to be in August. There were a couple of staff questions that we wanted to make sure we understood from Tracy, so that's why it wasn't on your agenda for today's meeting. So it should be voted on at the August meeting, and I guess in effect immediately? You need to be.
3 people came to the other meeting.
Yeah. So, this is Mark Wade. Am I up?
Can we have that muted, whatever that is? HTV?
Thank you. I wanted some clarity around where that stood relative to this application.
Thank you. All right. Was there any more questions or comments? Yes.
This is Lori Belangia from the school board. There is elementary and middle school capacity for the project, but there is no high school capacity, so the applicant will have to contact the school board for a prop share on this project.
Thank you. All right. Any more input items or questions or comments, discussion from the commissioners? I'm not seeing any lights or movements. I'm going to go ahead and close the public comments on this item and open it up for motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion for HCCPA 2310 from Res 2 to Res 4, consistent with the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan, and forward this recommendation to the
Commissioner
county.
Buzza? Sorry.
I'll
Forward.
second.
Sorry about that. All right, we have a motion of consistency finding from Commissioner Fernandez, a second to that motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Buzza. Any more comments, discussion items from commissioners? Not seeing any. I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Did you meet this man?
Yeah. I didn't.
HTV.
Mark, can you please keep yourself muted?
Yeah, are we okay now?
Yes, sir.
Can the clerk please try the roll call vote again since we were so rudely interrupted?
Of course. Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Loke?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you very much. All right, our last item of business here, we have 2G HCCPA 2311 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment 15908 Westlake Drive, and the presenter is Sophia Garantiva.
All right, good evening, commissioners. Again, Sophia Garantiva, your Planning Commission staff, here to present on Comprehensive Plan Amendment HCCPA 23-11 15908 Westlake Drive. This is a privately initiated small-scale plan amendment consisting of 3 parcels totaling approximately 20.04 acres. The applicant is requesting to go from a split future land use of Waimama Village Residential 2, WVR 2, and Residential 4, Res 4, to Res 4 entirely. So some additional background on the proposed amendment. In 2007, the urban service area boundary was expanded. And during this expansion, it was identified that some parcels were split between the new urban service area line. So owners of the split parcels would have had difficulty developing their property, since they would both need to meet the standards for development for both the urban and rural areas. As such, a publicly initiated amendment was adopted to modify the urban service area boundary once again, allowing those parcels that were split to be included in their entirety within the urban service area. and the subject site parcels were part of this expansion. At that time, the future land use designation was not changed, and as part of the effort to correct those parcels with multiple future land use categories, property owners were later given the option to decide which future land use designation to change to. The property owners of the subject site are now exercising that option with this request. The site is located in the southern area of unincorporated Hillsborough County, north of the intersection of State Road 674 and Westlake Drive within the urban service area. It is also within the Waimama Village Community Plan. The aerial photograph here shows the site shaded in blue on the east side of Westlake Drive. It's surrounded by agriculture to the east and south and single-family development to the north and west. Specifically, to the west across Westlake Drive is the Valencia Lake subdivision. There is currently a single-family home and mobile home on the two southern parcels, and on the northern parcel, it is vacant. And this is a photograph of the site taken approximately 150 feet away from the driveway entrance of the property facing west. Photo facing north, the same driveway heading towards the eastern residence. A southeastern view of the property. And this is a view of the property northbound on Westlake Drive. As previously mentioned, the adopted future land uses of the site is split between Res 4 and WVR2. Res 4 allows for the density of 4 dwelling units per acre, suburban scale neighborhood commercial, office uses, and multi-purpose projects. WVR2 allows for 1 dwelling unit per 5 acres with the consideration of up to 2 dwelling units per acre. Agriculture and residential support uses may also be considered. And both allow up to a 0.25 floor area ratio unless otherwise limited by specific policies. The property owner is requesting a future land use designation of Res 4 for the entirety of the site as shown on the proposed future land use map. The proposed amendment would be an increase in residential development potential from 14 dwelling units up to 80 dwelling units, with the maximum commercial intensity remaining the same at approximately 218,000 square feet. As such, the proposed amendment is consistent with the future land use element policies 16.2 and 16.10, and with the Waimama Village Community Plan Vision Statement. Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. And that concludes my presentation. I believe the applicant is already online, and I can pull up his presentation and move the slides.
Thank you.
Hello again, Colin Rice for the applicant. Thank you, Sophia, for handling the presentation for me. I'll wait till that's pulled up. This will be my last virtual hearing, don't worry. Okay, again, good evening. I'll be brief. I know it's been kind of a long evening. Again, Colin Rice, law firm of Boulder Lundy, 1000 West Cass Street in Tampa. Here on behalf of the property owner, Tim and Tina Conley, who have joined us virtually this evening should any questions arise. But we're here to request a future land use map amendment from a split designation of WVR2 and R4 to a unified land use designation of R4. In essence, this application is to correct the aforementioned error from 2007. Next slide, please.
Excuse me, Colin, I don't mean to interrupt. 1 second. I think the wrong PowerPoint was uploaded.
Things can't go easy today, can they? Yeah, is there? Is this the right one? Yeah.
Apologies, you may continue.
Okay, thanks so much. All right, next slide. To orient you, we're in southern Hillsborough County in Waimama. just east of US 301, north of State Road 674, with Sun City Center to the southeast, in the South Shore and Waimama community planning areas, and within the urban service area. Next slide. So zooming in, you can see the 3 parcels here subject to this application, totaling 20 acres. Properties to the west across Westlake Drive are part of the Valencia Lakes community. Adjacent property to the south and east is owned by the Bullfrog Creek Mitigation Bank. Next slide. So, as previously stated, this property is in its entirety within the urban service area, represented here in pink. And again, the 2007 original drafted urban service area inadvertently bisected our client's property. Next slide. So this is actually from the staff report from CPA 0730 back in 2007. The dark blue represents the original urban service area that months later was corrected to go around the outer boundaries of my client's property and a number of other properties, but we're here for the Conleys this evening. So the urban service area was corrected. We're entirely inside of it, but the future land use designations never were. That's why we're here this evening. Next slide. So again, to the left shows the 2 future land use designations that are remnants of this short-lived urban service area line. Mr. Conley owned the property at the time, didn't want anything to do with WVR2, but you know, here we are, irrespective of those wishes in 2007. Next slide. So this makes sense for a lot of reasons, not least of which is policy 1.2, which states all new residential categories within the urban service area shall have a density of 4 dwelling units per acre. WVR2 at its inception was never intended to be urban. You know, further buttressing the notion that this is simply was an error, and we're here correcting it this evening. Next slide, please. So we held an applicant-initiated voluntary neighborhood meeting on May 18th of this year. It was well attended, had 6 folks, including several representatives from Valencia Lakes and Waimama CDC, in attendance because, you know, like a lot of these letters, they can raise questions, be a little bit confusing. But I think once we explained the strange history here and how we're kind of correcting something from 2007, everybody kind of understood it. You know, this is a very interested community, which we can appreciate. We maintained standing invitations to speak with anybody that had questions, several emails and phone calls with other folks that couldn't appear. Right now, we're not aware of any opposition to this project. Next slide. So again, I want to thank staff for all their hard work and support for this. We're grateful to have a recommendation of consistent to be transmitted to the Board of County Commissioners. So with that, we'll go to my final slide. I'll conclude by requesting your favorable approval this evening. Happy to answer any questions. I know this one's a little bit different, but at any rate, thank you for your time this evening. Let me know if you have questions.
All right, thank you very much. We had a couple people sign up for comment on this one, and I know one of them's the applicant, but I'll still put it on there. We'll start with Tim Conley, if he wants to say anything. Joining us.
Tim, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Sorry. I think Colin handled it well. I just signed up in the public comment section before I logged into the WebEx. So yeah, but if you guys have any questions for me, certainly I'm available.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, next up we had Gil Martinez. Virtually, Gil Martinez.
Mr. Chair, Gil is not on the meeting. He's not signed in.
All right, and those were, Mark Waite. We have Mark Waite virtually.
Mark was the person earlier that was going back and forth with unmuting himself, sir. He is no longer on.
All right. Okay, so that was all we had for sign up for public comment. Did anybody give public comment? Not really, but I'll give you the opportunity to respond if you would like, Mr. Collins.
No response. Thanks so
Okay.
much.
All right. We'll turn it over to the commissioners for discussions, questions, thoughts on this one. Anyone? Commissioner Fernandez?
Yes, thank you. I just want to, I know we're going to have the map soon, bring it up, but this back end of the property, about 6 acres of this site is within a FEMA floodway, and that means it regularly floods. It's not a small chance. So I just want everybody to have that information. It is an older map from 2008, so it might be a little bit more, or I should say a little bit less developable. So I got 6 out of 20 acres in that floodway on Bullfrog Creek. So just want everybody to know.
Thank you, Commissioner Fernandez. Commissioner Handy?
Yes, and it also backs right up onto Bullfrog Creek. So I can't say that I'm thrilled about the idea of that higher density right there, but I do understand it being inside the urban service area. My question, and I'm not thrilled about more traffic on West Lake that then has to go north or south.